station of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Arizona.
The Colorado Rockies are in town, and right now they are the most dangerous team in all of baseball. These Blake Street Bombers feature Charlie Blackmon hitting .400, Tulowitzki and Morneau both over .340, Nolan Arenado, who's hit in 17 straight. But the D-backs may have the answer. Wade Miley, unbeaten in 10 career games against the Rockies, and a chance to give the D-backs their 5th straight quality start. Wade Miley looks to cool Colorado next on Fox Sports Arizona. Another beautiful Arizona day, from the Grand Canyon to downtown Phoenix, and a showcase evening for Chase Field with the roof and the panels open on a beautiful, clear, comfortable night. And we are set for baseball. It's the Arizona Diamondbacks on Fox Sports Arizona. Good evening from Chase. Steve Berthune, Bob Brenly along the way. It is the Diamondbacks and the Colorado Rockies, the opener of a 3-game series. We'll have all 3 games for you right here on Fox Sports Arizona. And if you could pick a pitcher, Bob, any pitcher to open up a series against these Rockies, you would probably pick Wade Miley.
Well, unless you get Brandon McCarthy from yesterday. But yeah, Wade Miley is the guy. With Patrick Corbin on the disabled list, Wade Miley's the guy you want on the mound regardless of the opposition, but especially against the Colorado Rockies. A perfect 7-0 against the Rockies with an ERA of 2.5. He's done an outstanding job against one of the best offensive teams in all of baseball every year.
And this year they are the best offensive team in all of baseball. It's Charlie Blackmon, Justin Morneau, Troy Tulowitzki, Nolan Arenado. These guys are raking right now.
This is a scary offense right now. They're missing Michael Kadire and Willeen Rosario, 2 big cogs in that offense, but they have not missed a beat. They've had 4 players have at least a 10-game hitting streak this season. You mentioned Arenado in the midst of one right now.
Well, Wade Miley will have his hands full. Certainly, he's up against Franklin Morales for the Rockies. It's a battle of left-handers as we open a 3-game series with the Rockies at Chase Field. Let's keep it going with the starting pitching. Can we make it 5 straight quality starts? Miley on the mound. More on that when we return. You're watching the Arizona Diamondbacks on Fox Sports Arizona. Sports Arizona is brought to you in part by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And by Jack in the Box. If the D-backs hit a home run today, score a free Jumbo Jack tomorrow with a purchase of a large drink.
Well, a great way to start the week Monday night at Chase Field. D-backs and Rockies. Wade Miley on the hill for the Arizona Diamondbacks, hoping to keep the trend rolling. They have 4 straight quality starts, and while they haven't won all those games, it has given this team a chance to compete. Bronson Arroyo said it was only a matter of time.
If you continue to throw strikes and you're not walking a ton of guys, you got to think the ball's going to turn eventually, and guys will at least have quality outings. I mean, I think our first 25 games only had 3 quality starts, and that's hard to do even if you were trying, to be that bad. So, yeah, I figured it would turn at some point, and hopefully, I think it's just a kind of a mood of the team. When you win some games back-to-back, everybody just lightens the load a little bit. It gives you an opportunity to go out there and be a little bit more aggressive and not worry about what's going to happen in the results.
And so far, Wade Miley has been a perfect 7-0 against the Colorado Rockies. A pair of lefties on the hill tonight as the D-backs open up this 3-game series against the Colorado Rockies. A Southpaw showdown. We've got it next for you live right here on Fox Sports Arizona.
Rockies as the left-hander Wade Miley walks to the mound here. He has been outstanding against Colorado in his career. 10 games, 9 of them starts. A perfect 7-0 record, a 2.52 ERA. And the Diamondbacks will look to Wade Miley to contain what Bob has become the most powerful offensive lineup in all of baseball.
Yeah, this is a scary-looking Rockies lineup that they can run out there. And I mentioned in the open of the show, they don't even have Michael Kadire and Willeen Rosario, who were 2 big parts of the offense earlier this season. This is how Walt Weiss is going to line them up. Guy leading the major leagues in hitting, Charlie Blackmon at the top of the order, followed by Brandon Barnes and Troy Tulowitzki. It'll be Carlos Gonzalez, Nolan Arenado, and Justin Morneau in the middle. Jordan Pacheco doing the catching for Willeen Rosario. DJ LeMahieu at second base, hitting .300 from the 8th spot in the lineup. And left-hander Franklin Morales on the mound for the Rockies.
Our Arizona Ford starting pitcher for the Diamondbacks, Wade Miley, his 7th start. He has worked 36 innings, given up 30 hits with 34 strikeouts.
Center fielder, number 19, Charlie Blackmon.
And he's in there against the guy that has become an absolute sensation, certainly in the National League West. It's the Rockies' leadoff man, Charlie Blackmon, the most dangerous hitter on the planet right now. He comes in here hitting .402.
10 for 19 leading off ball games. 2 doubles and a triple among those 10 hits.
He is leading the National League in hits, 1 ahead of Paul Goldschmidt, by the way. He is leading the league in runs scored, 2 ahead of his teammate Troy Tulowitzki. There's the strike. And we know, as we remember, he crushed the D-backs in their 3-game series earlier this month at Coors. 10 hits, 14 at bats. He scored 5 times and drove in 5. That's off the fist, right to Prado at third, 1 away. They retire Charlie Blackmon. Good start.
Good start. Keep him off the bases.
Defensively, the Diamondbacks look as such.
It'll be Cody Ross in left, A.J. Pollock in center, Gerardo Parra, 2-time Gold Glove winner, out in right field. Martin Prado caught that little floater off of Blackman's bat for the first out of the game. Will be at third. Chris Owings and Aaron Hill make up the double play combo up the middle. Paul Goldschmidt at first. Miguel Montero behind the plate for left-hander Wade Miley.
What a night to be with us at the ballpark. Roof and panels open. Picture perfect. Very comfortable on a nice clear night. Brandon Barnes, first pitch swinging. Second baseman Aaron Hill has it. And 4 pitches, 2 outs for Miley.
Nice.
Shortstop, number 2.
As you can imagine, with the numbers that the Rockies are putting up, they're a very aggressive swinging ball club. They're not too concerned about drawing base on balls. They'll look for something to hit early in the count and put it in play.
And now, as per usual, it's the middle of the order. That means number 2, Troy Tulowitzki. Having another sensational season, 342 and 5 homers. His on-base percentage of nearly .450. And he's got more walks than strikeouts this year. What a start.
Yeah, I should amend that. Tulowitzki is a guy that will take a walk. 17 walks on the season against only 13 strikeouts. But he, too, still a very aggressive free swinger.
Tulo, despite the batting average of .342, did not have a particularly good series in Los Angeles. Rockies just came from Dodger Stadium. He went 1 for 12 there. But he laces that one down the left field line. It rolls to the bullpen wall, and Tulo, with the easy jog and a second, his 8th double of the year.
Number 5.
He actually got fooled a little bit by that Wade Miley delivery. Got out in front, but managed to keep his bat in the strike zone for a long time. Really extends out there and pulls that one down into the left field corner for the first hit of the game.
Now keep in mind, when Carlos Gonzalez faced Miley earlier this season at Coors Field, Cargo had 3 at-bats and saw only 6 pitches. He grounded out all 3 times trying to jump on that Wade Miley slider. One and 0.
Yeah, we showed you Wade Miley's numbers against the Rockies in his career. It's that age-old question. When do you make an adjustment? I mean, obviously he's been doing well against the Rockies, but certainly they've seen a lot of him. Do you go away from your pattern that's been successful in anticipation of an adjustment from the Rockies, or do you just keep doing what you've been doing? I say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Miley behind 2-0. Three balls and no strikes. Carlos Gonzalez really slumping right now. He's the slow bat in this lineup. He's got a bum knee. He's hit only $130 over his last 14 games with just 1 extra base hit. And he had only 1 hit in Colorado's 3-game series at Dodger Stadium. There's a strike, 3-1. It's left knee tendonitis for Gonzalez, something he said he's actually been dealing with since early last season. And he says he just has good days and bad days. Lately, a lot of bad days. 3-1. But when this guy gets hot, and he's a streaky player, there's no doubt about that. When he's on a hot streak, he is sensational. 3-2, 2 outs. Here it is. That is in the gap in right center field. This is trouble. It gets down and rolls to the wall. Tulowitzki will score, and Gonzalez will head for third. Out of there. Gonzalez makes the final out of the inning at third base, but the run comes across for the Rockies. Nice job by the Diamondbacks. Aaron Hill on the relay. Cargo is out at third, but Colorado scratches across a run. They lead it 1-0. National League batting champion Michael Kadire, who's on the DL with a left hamstring strain. They are always dangerous, and it's that old combo of Tulo and Cargo. Back-to-back doubles as scratched across a run. And the Diamondbacks will hit in the bottom of the first, trailing 1-0. This is the lineup for Kirk Gibson tonight.
It'll be A.J. Pollock at the top, followed by Martin Prado and Paul Goldschmidt. See what A.J. Pollock did in the last series against the Phillies at .500. Miguel Montero batting cleanup, followed by Aaron Hill and Cody Ross. It'll be Gerardo Parra, Chris Owings, and Wade Miley bringing up the rear.
Arizona Ford starting pitcher.
Wade Miley should campaign to move up higher in the order the way he swings the bat.
He's looking very hitterish lately. Arizona Ford starting pitcher, another left-hander. This one for the Rockies. It's Franklin Morales. His 6th appearance of the season, his 5th start. He has won each of his last 2 starts and has pitched well, beating the Padres in San Diego, then a win over the Giants at Coors Field last Tuesday in his previous time out.
And we're told Morales is commanding his cutter much better. This is a guy that's trying to avoid pitching purgatory. He does not want to go back to the bullpen. He wants to stay in this Rockies rotation. So he's put together some of his best starts of his career recently.
And he has been adamant about wanting to start. He was in the rotation when spring training ended with Jhoulys Chacin and Tyler Chatwood both on the DL. Chatwood came back. Morales went to the bullpen. Wasn't there long. Brett Anderson injured a finger, so Morales is back in there, and he is unbeaten ever since. A.J. Pollock leads off the first for the Diamondbacks. A.J. 275 on the year. He's slugging .450. And the bat has really come alive lately. What a night to be at Chase Field. Roof and panels open. Pollock ahead 2-0. A.J. had a tremendous series against the Phillies this weekend. He started all 3 games. Had 6 hits and 12 at-bats. A double, a triple, and a home run.
I mentioned the cutter from Franklin Morales. He'll also sink his fastball occasionally, throws a curve and a slider, uses a split finger for the straight changeup. Doesn't really throw a lot of breaking pitches. Mostly just relies on working that fastball on both sides of the plate with some sink sometimes and with some cut at other times.
Well, Morales 20 appearances last season with the Boston Red Sox, mostly in relief. He has made just 1 start last year for them. And nearly 200 career appearances over 8 years in the big leagues. Just 25 starts coming into this year. 2 balls and 2 strikes to A.J. Pollock. Up in that light sky. Barnes backing up and right. He's got it for the first out. Mentioned that Kadyr's on the DL with a hamstring, so it's Barnes in right.
Gonzalez in left field. Charlie Blackmon in center. Brian Barnes over in right field. Nolan Arenado, Gold Glove winner last year, along with Cargo, the left fielder. Troy Tulowitzki, DJ LeMahieu make up the double play combo with Justin Morneau over at first base. Jordan Pacheco doing the catching tonight for lefty Franklin Morales.
And Nolan Arenado, a rookie third baseman who won the Gold Glove last year, and here in his sophomore season has already been putting on a defensive show at third for the Rockies as Martin Prado takes his run. Prado with 234, 8 RBIs.
That series in LA this weekend, you talk to people that are with the Rockies traveling party. They said that Arenado was making like Brooks Robinson down there at third base, making plays to his left, to his right, coming in, going back. He's put on an absolute show.
He made one play that his manager Walt Weiss, who was not a bad defensive shortstop himself in his day, said it was probably top 3 he's ever seen. Two and 1 to Prado. That gets down into short right center, and Prado is aboard. This was Nolan Arenado over the weekend at Dodger Stadium, and while we're on the subject, take a look at this.
Scott Van Slyke, the hitter for the Dodgers. Oh, I mean, that's 2 great plays. Number 1, to make a diving stop in foul territory in shallow left field, and then the strong arm to get Scott Van Slyke at first base. I mean, Walt Weiss is not a guy that throws around a lot of platitudes and the best of this and the best of that, but talking to the Rockies beat writers, he said this is the best I've ever seen down there at third base, and they were throwing some names out at him. What about this guy? What about that guy? And Walt said, nope, he's the best I've seen.
Nolan Arenado, just the second rookie third baseman ever to win a Gold Glove. The previous was Frank Malzone back with the 1957 Red Sox. 1-1 to Paul Goldschmidt. So Arenado's defense at third, something to watch for in this series. Goldie 0 for 4 yesterday, hitless in back-to-back games for the first time this season. That one will drop into left. Prado stops at second. Diamondbacks have 2 on and 1 out. And here comes Miguel Montero.
Catcher number
Down near the trademark just a little bit. Took some of the sting out of that line drive, but got enough of it to get it over the head of Troy Tulowitzki in the left field for the second hit of the inning.
Here's Miggy.
Boy, Franklin Morales, another one of those guys you got to get to him early. Gets tougher as the game goes on.
An opponent batting average just over 300 the first time through the order. To what might you attribute that? You would think once they got another look at him or 2, it would get better as the game wore on.
I think maybe his command just gets a little better as the game wears on. You know, a lot of good pitchers, it takes an inning or 2 to settle in on the mound, especially on the road.
So he is vulnerable the first time through the order. Montero with 271 and 2 homers. The on-base percentage for the season is over 380 for Miggy. So he's on pace with where he was 2 years ago, when he finished that year with an OBP in the 390s, which was by far a career high. Got under it, popped him up. DJ LeMahieu calling for it. That's the second out. You can hear Miggy scream out in frustration with that one.
second baseman number 2, Aaron Hill.
So now it's 2 on 2 outs for Aaron Hill. Another hot bat in this D-backs lineup. 255, 2 homers for Aaron. Martin Prado, the runner at second. Paul Goldschmidt at first. There's a strike, 0-1. Aaron Hill, last 5 games, he's got 3 doubles, a triple, a home run, 5 RBIs. He's been rolling here.
Stay hot.
Diamondbacks looking for a big 2-out hit. Rockies got their run, top of the first, back-to-back doubles, Tulowitzki and Gonzalez. 0-2.
See a lot of those foul balls off the bat of Aaron Hill tonight. If Morales is going to try to cut that fastball in on the hands of Aaron Hill, a lot of them are going to end up in foul territory down the third baseline.
I'm sure Glenn Sherlock is thrilled to hear that. It's Prado at second and Goldie at first. 2 outs, 0-2 on Aaron Hill. Charlie Blackmon in center field, shaded over toward right center for Hill. And now Jordan Pacheco, the catcher, wants a word. Willeen Rosario has a sore hand. He had an MRI today here in Phoenix. And they don't think he'll have to go on the DL. Walt Weiss said that Rosario could pinch hit if need be. So they're kind of going with one catcher right now. Just for the next couple of days, there is Willeen Rosario. Culberson would be the emergency catcher, but we're not sure if Walt Weiss was joking or not. So stay tuned.
No manager likes to think about emergency catchers. You always have a guy that just in case you can put him back there. You don't have much faith in him. You don't have a lot of confidence. You certainly don't want to do it. But every manager has a guy that, if necessary, will throw him back there.
A ball and 2 strikes. 2-2. All kinds of room in left center field if Aaron can get it down there. With Goldie, an excellent base runner at first, he could there's a chance he could score on a double, certainly with 2 outs. Three and two. So now Goldschmidt at first will be off with the pitch. Prado at second. And Cody Ross on deck.
Talking to a couple of the advanced scouts who have seen Morales recently, said he's been effectively wild. He can lose the zone, but when he needs to make a pitch, he's been able to put it in there on the corner where hitters couldn't do much with it. But look for a lot of hitters counts tonight.
There go the runners. That's fouled back. We'll do it again. Already a 22 pitch first inning for Morales, 13 for strikes. Runners take off. That one is skied high behind the plate. Pacheco, see if he has room near the screen, and he's got it. The Diamondbacks get a pair of 1-out singles, but they strand the runners. We are through 1 at Chase Field. They trail the Rockies 1-0. photos, use the hashtag AZFanPhoto for your chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast brought to you by AT&T. The hashtag is AZFanPhoto on the Twitter, and Bob Brenly will scour the Twitterati. Nolan Arenado with a 17-game hitting streak pops up the first pitch he sees from Miley, and right away, one pitch, one out in the second.
First baseman number 33.
Wade Miley's reputation has preceded him into this ball game. The Rockies very aggressive against him. They know he's going to throw strikes, be around the plate. Some very quick outs. Only 13 pitches so far in the ball game for Miley.
Well, Arenado's hit in 17 straight. Morneau in 11 in a row. The former Twin and AL MVP. Off to a .356 start with 5 home runs. This was really one of the signings where at the end of the winter you looked and saw what Colorado had done and you thought, you know, these guys made some pretty good moves here. Morneau seems like a good fit.
And they've been raving about his defense at first base. I mean, big shoes to fill with Todd Helton retiring, but everybody close to the ball club said they've been very impressed with the way Morneau's handled himself defensively over there at first.
2006 AL MVP with Minnesota. Was runner-up for that award in 2008. One of the all-time great Rockies, number 17. 3 balls and a strike. Here's the 3-2. Well, Justin Morneau, 259, 17 home runs last season between the Twins and the Pirates. He finished up with Pittsburgh. But his most impressive number, 152 games played, coming off all the concussion problems. And the Rockies saw enough to give him a 2-year, $12.5 million deal once Todd Helton retired. On the ground to first. Goldie will take it himself, has to hurry. And he beats Morneau to the bag, 2 down. He is really quick. Very quick feet over there.
Catcher number 58.
We have a moment. Let's take a look at our Valley Honda keys to the game tonight. Hey, sorry, Charlie Blackmon. Try to drop an over on the hottest hitter on the planet. And Wade Miley going for 5 of a kind. 4 consecutive quality starts from the rotation. Wade Miley looking to continue that streak with 5 of a kind tonight.
Here's the catcher, Jordan Pacheco. Miley starts him off with a strike, 0-1. 7th start behind the plate this year for Pacheco. He began his big league career with Colorado, mostly playing first base and third base. Caught 15 games last year, more than 40 over at first base, but his role this year is the backup catcher. That's a lot of versatility.
Usually in your utility man, you look for one of 2 things. Can he go behind the plate if necessary? And Pacheco can certainly do that. And can he play the middle infield positions? I mean, Cliff Pennington, an ideal utility guy because he can play second, third, or short. Probably play first in a pinch if you needed him to. So he fills the role as backing up the entire infield.
I've seen Penny's catcher's equipment in the clubhouse. He has catcher's gear.
Sitting there talking to Tuffy.
You catchers.
Nothing quite like that. Somebody making their first trip to the ballpark, coming out of that hallway, that little tunnel. All of a sudden, there's a beautiful field laid out in front of you. Perfect night here at the ballpark.
That was spectacular here yesterday afternoon. A gorgeous, comfortable night tonight. We're so lucky here in the Valley. Two outs, 1 and 2 on Jordan Pacheco. Called strike 3. First strikeout for Wade Miley. He sets the Rockies down in order in the second. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Coming up for the Diamondbacks, Cody Ross, Gerardo Parra, and then Chris Owings. Cool shades, say D-backs fans. Be at Chase Field May 16th through the 18th. As the D-backs take on the Dodgers, you can get the most bang for your buck with the D-backs value pack. That includes a bleacher ticket, a hot dog or a Subway sandwich, a regular Pepsi, and a free cookie. All that for only $21. For more information, visit dbacks.com/value. Dodgers and D-backs May 16, 17, and 18 right here at Chase Field. Cody Ross leads off the second against Franklin Morales. Ross, Parra, Owings, 6, 7, and 8. Cody at 3 for 30 to open the year. The 1-0. Right to the Gubna. It's in the radio booth. It just knocked over Tom Candiotti's monitor. And there's the Candyman defending the very life of Leo Gilmartin. I think he may have just saved Leo.
Yeah. Did it completely, or you still have a picture?
No, we're all good.
Okay.
Right?
Gotta have that picture.
Gotta have it.
1 ball, 1
now
strike.
Now you got a ball.
Yeah.
At least he didn't throw it back. On the ground is short, Troy Tulowitzki.
You talked about Charlie Culberson being the emergency catcher. He actually went out between innings. They don't want Willeen Rosario doing anything with that left hand right now. So Charlie Culberson got a little bit of experience between innings, catching some warm-up pitches. Looked like he wanted nothing to do with it.
Here, this is yours. Take it.
Don't get hurt. It's the last thing he said before he ran back to the dugout.
Gerardo Parra, 250. A home run, 8 RBIs. Was there ever a guy, a utility-type infield guy that always wanted to get the chance to do that but never did, that you could think of? I can do this, just give me a shot.
No, usually people don't want to volunteer for it. They don't want anything to do with that position.
It's a special breed, isn't it?
It really is. I used to threaten Craig Counsell, put him behind the plate if necessary. Fortunately, it never came to that, but I'm sure he could have done a nice job.
2 balls, no strikes to Parra. Reno. Mark Reed, the bullpen catcher. Now this is an interesting job. If you can catch, you can hang around at baseball a long time. Because with all these pitchers, they need somebody to throw to. And Reeder is the guy back there in the bullpen. It's funny when we walk to different places and they see that, they start yelling at him, "Hey, Addison Reed, Addison Reed." That one is hit hard to right. And it is gone, a home run. Gerardo Parra. April 2nd of last year, the last time a home run was hit by a Diamondbacks left-hand hitter off the left-hand pitcher. It was Montero versus Jaime Garcia. Tonight, it's Gerardo Parra off Franklin Morales.
Boy, no doubt it was hit well. It was just a question of was it high enough to get over that right field fence. A line drive variety. Just does sneak over the fence out there, setting off a mad scramble for that home run ball.
And Parra versus lefties this season. Going into that at bat, only 4 for 29 with 7 strikeouts. But he takes Morales deep to tie the ball game. And that goes back to what you were saying, Bob. First time through the order, they had 2 base hits in the first against this guy, and now a 1-out homer by Parra.
And got himself a good hitter's count. Took the first 3 out of the zone, got a very generous strike call on the 3-0 pitch, and then was ready to jump on that 3-1 delivery.
Owings chases one upstairs for the strikeout. That's the first for Morales. 2 down in the second.
Number 36, Miley.
Well, Gerardo Parra bobblehead day coming up soon. We have the Gerardo Parra bobble in the booth, by the way, so we got some good mojo going. There's Miley. Inside the purple vault.
Really fired up over that home run.
Misses there, 1-1. How about those numbers for Miley? Of course, it was right about this time last year that he homered at AT&T Park in San Francisco.
Way back.
He likes Colorado pitching. 2-1.
We just made his day, putting up an offensive stat for a pitcher. They love that.
The numbers speak for themselves. A little 50-50 action tonight.
1 for 2, 3 for 5, 10 for 10, and 25 for 20. Get your 50-50. Woo! Go D-backs! Woo!
Miley's worked it full. First time Morales has given up an extra base hit to a left-hand batter since the middle of August 2012. And this one left the yard. The second of the season for Gerardo Parra. The first for a Diamondback left-hand hitter against a left-hand pitcher in more than a year. Popped up third base side to Lewitzki. He's got it in shallow left, and that's the getting. But Gerardo Parra, his second home run of the season, has tied the ball game. It's 1-1 here at Chase.
The big week for the Arizona Diamondbacks as they team up to battle cancer this Saturday. Their second annual 5K race against cancer, joined by D-backs president and CEO Derek Cole. Another thing that I think is very exciting, you announced today the formation of a nonprofit foundation called pro-state.org. Tell us what that is.
Yeah, excited. We launched it today. It's the Derek Hall Pro State Foundation. It's one that my wife and I started so that we can really educate people, make them aware of prostate cancer, a pro state of mind. We're really a resource now, a place where they can go get their questions answered, support groups, hear my story. It's going to be a nice little community for those that are stricken by it.
And you found out back in September of 2011 that you had prostate cancer. You could have easily been silent about it. You chose to be proactive because it's something that happens to 250,000 Americans every year, especially men. It's the second leading cause of death for American men. Why did you decide to take that path? And this is obviously the next phase of that.
Yeah, you said it, Brad. I mean, I feel like with this platform, I can at least get out there and drive awareness, try to educate men of the importance of getting tested. 1 in 6 men are going to have prostate cancer. 30,000 men die each year from prostate cancer. It just continues to grow. And the more that we can get word out there of the importance of getting tested for early detection, then you have a better chance of treating it. And this, again, is a good resource for people to learn of that, whether they're just concerned, they have questions about it, maybe they had a diagnosis, maybe they're about to go have their biopsy, whatever the case may be. We want to make sure they're not in this alone and that we're a resource for them to get those answers.
And managing general partner Ken Kendrick, also a prostate cancer survivor. So this is something that hits near and dear to this organization.
It is, and to Major League Baseball. There's a number of people in Major League Baseball, managers, former managers, who also had prostate cancer. It's quite a fraternity, one that we didn't wish we were in, but nonetheless we're in it together and making sure that those are victim out there and trying to fight this and trying to survive. It never goes away. For me, for example, I'll still get tested. My numbers went up slightly, so there's a chance I may need radiation. Whatever the case may be, I'm going to tell that story so others know what I've been through and let them know they're not alone.
And a big race this Saturday, the second annual 5K race against cancer. Tell us about that. It was a great first-year event last year. It was a lot of fun.
It was. We had just under 2,000 runners this year. We're gonna go over that. We already are. We thank U of A and their cancer center, along with St. Joseph's Hospital and Medical Center, who are putting it on. But same deal. We're 7:30 in the morning. We start our run. It'll be followed by the walk after that. It's a great course. You ran it. You did a nice job. You beat your buddies. I know that. And we look forward to having all of our runners and walkers out there. It's quite an event, and the money that is raised will go to the D-backs Foundation as well as to our new Pro State Foundation. So I'm thrilled.
I'm not going to run this year, so the old man division is wide open.
All right, good. Well, maybe I could take it, but I'm not running either. I'll be out there as the MC and the handshaker. But again, if folks are interested in going on and looking at our new foundation and website, it is pro-state.org, and I'm really pleased with how the website has turned out. We're now going to print collateral and try and get it in all the urologists' offices in Arizona so we could help.
And a great cause, and keep up the good work.
Thanks, Brad. Appreciate it.
Guys, back up to you. It is pro-state.org.
Yeah, the second annual D-backs race against cancer, presented by the University of Arizona Cancer Center at St. Joseph's Hospital. That is next Saturday, May 3rd, so we hope to see you there. You'll get a Drive-It event T-shirt, a medal, 2014 ticket voucher for a D-backs game, a drawstring bag, all kinds of reasons to go out there. And you can register right now at dbacks.com/race. They gave the ground ball by Morales. They ruled that a single. It's a sacrifice by Blackman to move him over to second with 2 outs. And it's an 0-1 count on Brandon Barnes.
Kind of a generous call to give that a sacrifice. It was clear to me that Blackman was bunting for a base hit. Why would you give up an out to the best hitter in the National League with 1 out in the inning already to move a pitcher into scoring position?
And Blackman, as we saw, really gets up that line. That was a close play. He certainly looked like he was bunting for a base hit there. A ball and a strike to Brandon Barnes. Down the right field line, but that one is slicing foul. Brandon Barnes got a 7-game hit streak going. He's got 12 hits during that 7-game streak, including 3 yesterday in the Rockies win at Dodger Stadium. Miggy wants to run through the signs again. Barnes was a rookie last season in Houston. Hit .240 with 8 home runs. 2-2.
And the Rockies love the way Barnes approaches the game. They say he plays baseball with a football mentality.
From Cypress College. He's got Colin Kaepernick tattoos going, I can tell you that. The ink. 3-2 now. Ball 4. A pair of 2-out base runners for Troy Tulowitzki.
Shortstop, Troy Tulowitzki.
Watch that first pitch, especially with runners in scoring position. Troy Tulowitzki, we mentioned, he'll take his walks, but he wants to be aggressive. And when there are guys in scoring position, he's looking to cherry pick that first pitch in the strike zone.
He doubled and scored his first time up. Morales, the pitcher, is the runner at second. Barnes with very good speed at first. And sure enough, first pitch is down the line, and that's trouble in the right field corner. Morales will score. Barnes right behind, and it's a 2-run double for Troy Tulowitzki. And the Rockies take a 3-1 lead.
In attack, the first pitch he does, up and out over the plate, stays right on it, hits it with authority down into that right field corner. Thought initially maybe Gerardo Parra might have an angle on that ball, but he hit it so hard it just shot by Gerardo all the way to the barrier.
A big 2-out hit for Tulo, and now here's Carlos Gonzalez. He followed Tulowitzki's double in the first with a double of his own to drive in a run, but was thrown out trying to stretch it into 3. The average for Gonzalez down to 242. He was 8 for 58 coming in. He has really slumped lately. Mostly because of the left knee tendonitis. He says the pain he's been feeling lately worse than usual, and it's just something he has to deal with. Little roller, Prado at third. They strand Tulowitzki, but the Rockies add 2 more. They take a 3-1 lead. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Coming up for the D-backs, the red-hot A.J. Pollock.
Kachinko by signing up at one of the 16 interactive kiosks right here at Chase Field during any Arizona Diamondbacks regular season home game.
Life-changing.
Life-changing. Wow. For somebody it's going to be. We've already had, I think, 4 semifinalists for the Ford C-Max at the end of the season from Sanderson Ford.
It's a good-looking car.
He's going to drive home in a new vehicle.
When they do that at the end of the year, they drive the car out onto the outfield. It's really something to see. And then one person is the big winner of the car from Sanderson Ford. A.J. Pollock will lead off the Arizona third. Now 3-1 Rockies.
We should point out there are no losers in Kachinko. Everybody goes home with a game piece and possibly a nice prize, a gift certificate at the team shops, tickets to D-backs games, possibly a chance to win a car.
Well, we got an issue with the Morneau wants to use the spike cleaner over there.
Yeah, that's a hard plastic rubberized thing they nail into the ground out there behind the mound so the pitchers can get any dirt out of their cleats, make sure they have good footing out there on the mound.
Danon Demuth is the crew chief. The first base umpire says no swing, so it's 1-0 to Pollock, who flied out his first time.
Hey fans, when the D-backs win, you win at Papa John's. The day after every D-backs win, you get 50% off your regular menu price online order at Papa John's. Enter promo code D-backs50 at papajohns.com.
Now, you've been a bachelor here for a couple of weeks. Are you just driving by Papa John's all the time?
After every win. I mean, I got it dialed up on my computer ready to go. So even if, the D-backs win tonight, I hit one button, and by the time I get home, the Papa John's dude's right there in the driveway.
That's lifted high in the air, right to Tulowitzki at short. One away. Because now Grandma Joan is still with Lacey and everybody. So you're kind of running the show over there by yourself. You all right?
Well, yeah, so far, as long as they don't close the concession stands here at the ballpark, I'll be okay.
You won't starve that way.
And we got some new shirts this homestand, so
yeah,
I'm rolling.
Martin Prado singled his first time. Kirk Gibson was saying that, the team's going through a tough streak right now. And that Martin Prado, to use a term you hear a lot in baseball, is just kind of wearing it right now. And Gibby says that Martin probably takes things a little more harder than other guys do. Carries it around with him a little bit more. And I think you can see that from up here. Two 2-0.
The thing with Martin Prado's track record and history in this game, it's not going to be long. One good game where everything kind of comes together. He feels like he's contributed, helped the team win, made the plays defensively, done the things he expects himself to do to help the team win games, and he'll be right off and rolling like he always does.
Well, you remember what he did in the second half last year, hit .320 after the All-Star break.
When you are struggling, and believe me, I can speak to struggling, but even one bad swing, like in this at bat, if he had a pitch that he thought he should have hit hard and he fouled it off, that'll ruin the rest of the ball game, because now you're just dwelling on that. Geez, I should have hit that. Why didn't I hit that? That's a ball I should drive. Why didn't I hit it? Before you know it, your bat's over, you're back in the dugout, and you're still wondering why you didn't hit that pitch.
Gets the 1-out walk. Yeah, he admitted he's like that. He said he would drive home first half of last season after games and wonder what's going on. Why aren't I hitting? This is not what I usually do. What's happening here? But then last 82 games, hit better than .320. National League Player of the Month for August last year. And hit more than 70 points better after the All-Star break than he did the first half. So a one-out base runner for Goldie, who singled his first time up.
Goldie's about due to touch one off here pretty soon. He's been getting his base hits lately, but hasn't really been driving the ball, hasn't been lifting a lot of balls in the air, which is a good thing. You like to see the line drives and the hard ground balls, but I think he's about due to launch one.
Good try.
Good trying.
0-2. Check out the catch.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
Just don't lean over.
Nicely done.
Just be careful.
Yeah, you ought to be proud of that one. That was a heck of a play.
Goldie's last home run, by the way, I got April 16th against the Mets.
In his last 12-plus games against the Rockies, he's hit at a .432 clip with 8 extra base hits and 15 driven in, so stay hot.
A ball and 2 strikes. Hard to right center. That is well hit, and it is down at the track, and one hops the wall, and it's into the pool. Unfortunately, not on the fly, so Prado has to go back to third. Goldie hops one into the swimming pool, and fun times in the RamTrucks.com pool area. You got it. That was scolded.
A highly unreliable source in the booth tells me that is a ground pool double.
Get out. Take it back.
Oh, that's the swing we're used to seeing from Goldie. That short, abbreviated chop-light swing, driving that ball off the warning track and up into the hot tub. All right.
Nice job there. So now the Diamondbacks down 2 have the tying runs in scoring position. 1 out for Miguel Montero. Iggy popped up his first time. Montero has hit safely in 8 of his last 9 games. He has also walked 10 times during that span. So he's getting on base more than 50% of the time over the last about 9-10 days. And he's ahead 2-0.
Yeah, this is his 12th game hitting in that cleanup spot. His on-base percentage is .457. He's drawn 9 walks to go along with 11 hits. I think he's found a home in this lineup.
He has settled in, that is for sure. 2-0. That one is sky to center. Blackman under it. Prado at third. He comes in. Goldie will hold at second. RBI for Montero. It's a 1-run game.
Second baseman, Aaron Hill.
They didn't miss that by much. Hit that ball a mile in the air to deep center field to drive home Martin Prado from third base.
Just the at-bats, the quality of the at-bats consistently for Mickey, so much better than last year. So Goldie at second, he's the tying run now. 2 down for Aaron Hill. Aaron hit a foul pop-up back to the screen to strand 2 back in the first. Double your fun. Who had Trevor Plouffe and Chris Colabello in the pool? That one is down in right center. They'll wave Goldschmidt. He will come in and score, and Aaron Hill has tied the game. Well, Bob, they were down 2. They had 2 on with 1 out, and they found a way to bring him in.
Well, this is starting to feel very much like a Coors Field game. A lot of well-struck balls in the early going, including this line drive off the bat of Aaron Hill. Only a nice play by Charlie Blackman in center kept him from a double. Gotta love that comeback.
Cody Ross. Cody grounded out his first time. A.J. Pollock led off the inning with a pop-up to shortstop. Prado walked. Goldie doubled on one hop into the hot tub. A sac fly RBI for Montero. RBI single for Aaron Hill, and it's a 3-3 ball game. And Morales already at 60 pitches. Only 33 for strikes, so he's wild, just not effectively wild. Gets the call there, 1-1. Lance Barrett is the plate umpire tonight.
And Lance Barrett in my book is a high ball umpire. Calls that pitch up there around belt high, sometimes even a little above, but usually takes a little bit away at the bottom.
Right to Barnes and right. Miguel Montero, a sac fly for a run, and then Aaron Hill, an RBI single, ties it up through 3. It's 3-3 at Chase. Diamondbacks baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you in part by Chaz Roberts Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Choose Chaz. Gorgeous night at Chase Field. The Rockies 3, the Diamondbacks 3, as Nolan Arenado leads off the 4th against Wade Miley. Arenado, Morneau, Pacheco 5, 6, and 7 in the Colorado 4th. Arenado, a 17-game hitting streak, the longest in the majors this year. He has hit .348 during the streak. Nolan Arenado make it 18 straight. Parr can't cut it off. It rolls to the wall, and Arenado is in at second. $18 straight.
Boy, his fundamentals are so good in that batter's box. Watch his head right down on the baseball. Lines that over the head of Aaron Hill. Looked like a routine single. That ball just shot by everybody.
Well, you said, Bob, this is starting to feel like a Coors Field game. That's already Colorado's 4th double tonight. So Arenado at second. Here's Morneau, who grounded out his first time.
Well, you definitely do not want a Coors Field game for this Rockies ball club. See what they've done at home this year compared to on the road. Now that's 12 home games, and this is their 14th road game. So in a couple fewer games, they put up ridiculously better numbers at home, which is usual for the Rockies.
Morneau hits it to the right side, moves the runner along with one out.
Catcher, Jordan Pacheco.
So Wade Miley winless in his last 3 starts. In trouble again here in the 4th. Jordan Pacheco struck out looking his first time. Miley was outstanding 2 starts ago at Dodger Stadium. 6 innings of 2-hit ball, 8 strikeouts. His last outing was the 100th anniversary game at Wrigley Field last Wednesday afternoon. Got a no decision there. 5 innings, 4 hits, struck out 7. That's a fair ball down the left field line. This will make it 4-3 Rockies, and Pacheco is in at second. That's 5 doubles for Colorado.
Slider just didn't quite get down there where Wade Miley wanted it. Kind of hung over the inside part of the plate. Pacheco able to keep it fair down into that left field corner. That's a pitch that a lot of times will be pulled into foul territory, but kept his hands inside the ball enough to keep it fair.
And a very uncharacteristic for Wade Miley. Troubles with Colorado. He has been outstanding against these guys in his career. 10 games, 9 starts, a 7-0 record, a 2.52 ERA. And of course, you look at the game he pitched at Coors Field earlier this month, April 6th. He was brilliant. Only 2 runs allowed in 8 innings for his second win. And now he'll work to DJ LeMahieu, the second baseman. That one is out of play. 1 run. They're not waiting around on Wade. That one is on a hop to short for Owings. Pacheco to third, 2 down.
And this is very unusual for Wade Miley against the Rockies. You read the numbers there. Look at this list. Active left-handed pitchers with the lowest ERA against the Rockies. That's a pretty good list, and Wade Miley leading by a large margin. Gets back to what I was talking about earlier. Do you make an adjustment anticipating the adjustment that the Rockies are going to make? I think it's just more a case of Wade's left some pitches up in the middle of the plate tonight. Some of the sliders that he normally buries in the dirt have stayed over the plate, and the Rockies have made him pay.
Futures Field here at Chase. Getting him started early. There's a strike, 1-1. That one skips up. Montero has it. Dive back to the plate, and they get Pacheco coming home. It popped up over Montero's head. It took Miggy a moment to find it, and he's able to beat Pacheco to home plates. And they get the final out of the inning at home. But the Rockies get a run. They lead it 4-3. All your online local sports coverage. Jack Magruder's post-game analysis and reaction from the Diamondbacks clubhouse. Cody Ross says the hip is fine, the swing a little rusty. And Craig Morgan, isn't it time the Cardinals drafted their quarterback of the future? All that and more right now, FoxSportsArizona.com. Wild ball game here at Chase Field tonight. Beautiful night. Roof and panels open. Good night for a $4 beer. The best beer in baseball right here at Chase Field. A value item at the ballpark. And it's a 4-3 ball game. Gerardo Parra will lead off the fourth against Franklin Morales. Parra 4 for 29 this year against left-hand pitching. Homered off Morales in the second.
There's one of those high strikes from Lance Barrett I was talking about earlier.
The homer for Parra, his second of the year. And the first by a left-hand Diamondbacks hitter against a left-hand pitcher in more than a calendar year. This was it. It had been 709 plate appearances, lefty on lefty. And that streak ended. One and two. Gerardo Parra last year, career highs in home runs, doubles, walks, runs scored, and hits. And hitting left-hand pitching has been sort of the last piece of the puzzle for Parra. He hit 198 against lefties last year. And so his goal for this season offensively, more consistency. And with that in mind, Gerardo spent much of the offseason in Florida working on changing his batting stance. The goal here, as with a lot of the hitters under Turner Ward, less movement and more efficiency. A little quieter up there. We talked about this yesterday with Miguel Montero.
Simplify. Eliminate wasted movement. Just going to throw off your timing. You have to be almost perfect. The more movement you have, the more things you have going on in your pre-swing, the harder it is to consistently stay in a good rhythm.
Now you look at that front leg with Gerardo. Last year, the stance was open. The front leg was very stiff. And he had that exaggerated hip swivel as he turned into the pitch. Well, this year, as you see right here, the stance a little more closed. And that front leg, watch it here, it's a little more bent. There's a little bit more of a crouch there. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Base hit. Parra 2 for 2 against the lefty.
Both at bats, he squared it up right on the barrel of the bat. The first one a home run to right field. This one a ringing single into center. Really hit this ball well. You see this, the little leg cock puts the foot back down. All about driving those hands through the hitting zone.
Leadoff man aboard in the fourth. Here's the shortstop, Chris Owings. Owings struck out his first time. CO hot right now. Getting some productive at bats in the bottom of the order. He is hitting better than 360 over his last 11 games. And he's also taken 5 walks during that span. So he's been as disciplined as they hoped he would be. And that's reflected in his batting average at .311 coming into tonight. Keep in mind, this is a kid who last year at AAA Reno, in 575 plate appearances, walked 22 times. That's hard to do.
That's real hard to do.
But it's been much better here this year. And that's been part of the plan. You want to have him, Bob, and I know it's a difficult balance, maintain that aggressive approach up there, but yet be a little more disciplined at the same time. How do you do that?
You try to narrow it down. Be aggressive in the strike zone. That's one of the biggest keys for a young hitter coming to the major leagues is knowing what you can handle, knowing what you can't handle.
Broke his bat, popped him up. Gonzalez in shallow left center. Using a Martin Prado bat, it looks like there. You can tell by the pine tar in the middle and the 14 on the end of it.
What's left of a Martin Prado bat. Hitting coaches talk all the time about encouraging their hitters to be aggressive in the strike zone, attack the strike zone. Some hitters don't know where their own strike zone is, so they attack everything. But for a young player like Chris Owings to start taking more walks at this level, I think that's a great sign.
Bat. That's my size bat.
Yeah, there's the Prado bat. How does that go over when someone breaks one of your bats?
Yeah.
He'll send me more. Yeah. Miley gets the bunt down. Morales has one play. And Parra stands at second with 2 outs.
Not such a big deal in the major leagues, but in the minor leagues, you might only get a dozen bats a year. If you're going to borrow one of mine, you better not break it.
So a chance for A.J. Pollock to get the tying run home with 2 down. A.J.'s 0 for 2. He is flying out and popped up. Parra the runner at second, 2 down. A.J. Pollock last 18 games hitting .333. A.J. can be a little streaky up there, but when he's on one of his hot streaks, he will hit line drive after line drive. And we saw that this weekend against the Phillies.
And talk about getting locked in. If Gerardo Parra starts to hit left-handed pitching the way he's hit Morales tonight, I think that bodes well regardless of who's on the mound for the other team.
Running the bases with his trademark oven mitt. Bryce Harper could have used one of those. Nationals and Matt Williams got bad news on Harper. Needs thumb surgery, out 2 months, sliding headfirst into a base. This was Bryce Harper not too long ago, actually on Friday at Nats Park. Initially they said 15-day DL, and we found out today surgery is required. 2 months now.
He knows it right there.
Well, that's, I don't want to use the word complaint because that's not correct, but the concern certainly with Bryce Harper, and obviously a sensational player, a marquee player, great for baseball. You want him out there. Get young people enthused about baseball, but he just plays so hard. That bull in a china shop thing, crashing into walls, and you just wonder about the durability.
Yeah, I mean, we saw what it did to Gerardo Parra last year. The way he plays the game the same way. Get after it, run into walls, dive on warning tracks, dive into bases. It took its toll by the end of the season.
2-2. And Parra played more last year than he ever had, a whole lot more. 601 at bats last year for a guy who had never even topped 500 in the big leagues. Two and two. And in Parra's case, he was hitting better than .320 for the year. About the middle of June. But then from that point on, he hit under .230 the rest of the way. So it really did take its toll. The on-base percentage dropped by more than 100 points. So you want guys to play with that aggression out there, but it's also got to be contained. Called strike 3 on Pollock. That's the second strikeout for Morales. Fun times at the RamTrucks.com pool. Diamondbacks trail it 4-3.
And if you are celebrating your birthday,
I had, or even from my first outing, from my first outing to LA, I saw improvement from LA to Chicago, and I saw even more improvement. So, when you go out there and you have an outing like that, it kind of builds your confidence up. And I mean, that's what baseball is. You have a good day at the ballpark, you think you're gonna have a good day at the ballpark the next day. Sometimes it doesn't happen, but it's good to go out and have a good outing.
Well, tomorrow's starter Mike Bolsinger with our Geico quote of the game. If you're a young man whose first two major league starts have been in Dodger Stadium and Wrigley Field, you have to think that tomorrow here at home is going to be a nice comfort zone. And make sure you tune in tomorrow to D-Backs Live, the pregame show. We'll hear from Mike about how he developed his grips on both his fastball and his curveball. Guys, it was interesting when he was in college, he kept getting a blister on his index finger, so he put more of his pressure on the middle finger. I guess the necessity is the mother of invention, but interesting stuff. And he throws kind of a knuckle curve as well. Kind of tucks that index finger underneath on his fastball. Gets some interesting movement. Not afraid to throw that breaking ball in any count.
Yeah, the knuckle curve, that's in the Archie Bradley repertoire as well. That's a high chopper to third. Prado in front of Owens has it. And Morales is out. Mike Bolsinger, the Arkansas Razorback, will start here tomorrow after his terrific start in that series finale at Wrigley Field.
Center fielder Charlie Blackmon.
Not only the command of that knuckle curve ball, but the command of his fastball against the Chicago Cubs, moving the ball in and out, occasionally elevating that fastball, but putting a lot of the Cub hitters away with that nasty curve.
I was at Wrigley Field watching that game, and what impressed me about Mike was the way he carried himself. He looked like he belonged out there and knew it, which is an important part of it, I think. Some guys are out there and, second big league start, you're a little nervous. I'm sure that was the case, especially in front of friends and family, having been part of his childhood in Chicago. But, boy, he looked comfortable and poised out there. It was impressive. Charlie Blackmon came into the ball game hitting .402 on the year. But so far he's 0 for 1 with a sacrifice bunt. And that beard is something else as well. He is becoming legendary for the hitting and the beard, which he said he started growing last October. He was in Australia, actually, watching the World Series and saw the Red Sox and all those crazy beards those guys had and said, yeah, that lumberjack look, I think I can pull that off. Easy play for Aaron Hill. 2 down.
Sorry, Charlie.
Your key to the game.
Just kind of smothered that sinker down and in, pounded it down into the dirt in front of home plate. That's exactly what Wade Miley's looking for. When he throws that sinker down the zone, wants to get those easy ground ball outs.
Now he'll work to Brandon Barnes, hoping for a nice easy 1-2-3 fifth. Barnes walked and scored his last time up. He's 0 for 1. Brandon Barnes, the former Astro, acquired by the Rockies in the Dexter Fowler trade last December, came to Colorado along with pitcher Jordan Lyles. That is high in the air to right center field. Parra backing up at the track. And he's got it. It's allowed out number 3 in the 5th. And Miley works a 1-2-3 inning. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Coming up, Martin Prado leads it off for the D-backs, down 4-3. Finally here, it's happening all around us, so go grab a Pepsi and some friends and get out to a D-backs game and live it. It's time to live for now. Pepsi, the official soft drink of the Arizona Diamondbacks. We back the D-backs. Maybe you and I need to get to the Arizona club.
I'm telling you.
You know a guy in it? Can Todd Walsh get us in there?
Todd knows everybody.
He probably knows a guy at the door. That looks good. We don't eat like that in here. Martin Prado leads off the bottom of the 5th. It's been a very encouraging start to the ball game for Martin, who came in hitting 190 over his last 15 games. And his average for the season had dropped more than 50 points over that span. But so far tonight, he has singled, walked, and scored a run. There's the strike, 0-1. Spent much of last April trying to figure out Martin Prado's sock regimen. You remember the great high sock mystery of 2013? Yeah. I don't think we've seen him in the high socks really since maybe May of last year. That one is hit high in the air and carrying to left center. That ball is off the wall. Prado heads for third, and he is in there with a triple. Martin Prado, his first triple in 2014, and he's 2 for 2. Just missed a home run.
Deepest part of the ballpark, a hanging slider or cutter that time from Morales, right out near that 413 mark. Short hops the fence and in on his belly at third base. Wow, that was nice. Good to see Martin swinging it tonight.
So Prado at third to lead off the 5th. Here's Goldie, who's 2 for 2. He singled in the first, doubled and scored in the third. Paul Goldschmidt 1 for 11 in the 3 games here against the Phillies over the weekend. But 2 for 2 so far in this series. Chance to get that tying run home from third. 0-2.
Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 6 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
That's out of play. Oh, and 2. See, hitters hold those gloves in their hands when they're running the bases to remind them not to extend those fingers when they slide. Bounce to third. Arenado spins and throws. Goldschmidt is out, but there's the game tying run. It's 4-4. RBI for Goldie, his 17th. Miguel Montero drove in a run with a flying ball out his last time up. 4-4 ball game. Very entertaining night at Chase. Iggy up to 267 on the year. The low point for Montero in terms of his start this year was back on April 8th. That's when he was under a $190. But since then, he's hit better than .320. And counting tonight, 12 RBIs in his last 17 games. One and 2. Parra 2 for 2. Prado 2 for 2. One is tripled, one is homered. Two and 2 to Montero. And we watched A.J. Burnett shut down this Diamondback offense yesterday in the series finale against Philadelphia. The D-backs had gone 16 innings without scoring a run. But they have now scored in 3 of the last 4 against the Rockies. That's out of play.
Somebody's going to pay. That's what players say when they walk down the tunnel after a rough day like yesterday against A.J. Burnett. Instead of dwelling on the negative that just happened, look forward. Hey, somebody's going to pay. Right now it's Franklin Morales.
Popped him up. Pacheco gets it a look in foul ground. 2 down. The fan going for the foul ball. The beer died a hero. she is not happy. Not happy.
I can't believe you did that.
There won't be a second date. Yeah, that's it. But you don't understand. I had a shot at it.
I had a play.
Aaron Hill.
I was a shortstop on my middle school team.
He kind of looks like the guy from the King of Queens. Kevin James?
Yeah.
Is that him? We have a couple of votes in the truck for a turtle from Entourage.
Yeah. Having a good laugh about it now.
But she's telling her friend, nope.
That's your last beer.
3-0.
D-backs have not been swinging as much 3-0 this year as they have in seasons past. That was kind of a trademark of Kirk Gibson teams, turning guys loose 3-0, let them cherry pick a easy strike. Cutter off the inside corner that time gets the call. Haven't seen as much 3-0 swinging this year.
Three and one. Aaron Hill aboard for the second time tonight. This is the second walk issued by Morales, who is creeping up on 100 pitches here. So far, 97, only 56 for strikes.
Only 2 base on balls, but a lot of 3-ball counts, a lot of 2-0 counts. He's fallen behind a lot of the Diamondbacks hitters tonight.
And here's a guy that just crushes lefties, Cody Ross. And Cody looking to kind of get the bat going. This might be it. One swing right here. Cody says the only time he really thinks about the hip is when he's running the bases, because that's where it happened. Loves the way he's seeing the ball right now. The swing feels good. He feels good defensively. Drives that one to center, but right at Blackman, who started in, now breaks back, and he's got it for the outs. But the Diamondbacks tied up. Hey, $4 beers, you can afford another one. It's 4-4. It's Elvis night here at Chase Field. Before the game, you can enjoy an Elvis tribute show at the Game 7 Grill on the Gila River Plaza. And then after the game, catch the Friday night fireworks against a backdrop of classic Elvis hits. Plus, all fans who purchase a special Elvis night ticket package will get a custom Elvis night t-shirt, gold sunglasses complete with sideburns. And remember, you only get the giveaway through the special offer. So visit dbacks.com/events and get your tickets for Elvis night. Having a great time at the ballpark, and it's been an entertaining ball game. 4-4 as we start the sixth with Troy Tulowitzki, who has doubled twice, driven into, and scored a run.
Kind of a typical Wade Miley night up to this point. 9 ground ball outs, 2 pop-ups, 1 fly ball, 1 strikeout, and the Rockies have made 2 outs on the bases. So that accounts for the 15 outs through the first 5 innings, 9 of them on the ground.
And Tulowitzki has 2 of Colorado's 5 doubles in the game so far. So Tulo came in at 342. He's approaching 360 right now on a 2-for-2 night. A ball and 2 strikes. Biggest difference, says Tulowitzki, for him, maturity at the age of 29. Says when he was younger, he played out of control at times, trying to do too many things. Now he feels like he's very under control and knows himself as a hitter. And I would say at 358, he's probably right.
He can be on the verge of being out of control, especially defensively. You see him go into the hole and make that jump throw, and occasionally he'll throw it sidearm across the infield. Has one of the better throwing arms in all of baseball from the infield. And he still thinks he can make every play. And usually he's right.
Miley at 70 pitches, 48 for strikes.
Lengthy at bat this time around for Troy Tulowitzki.
Well, no secret, if they're going to contend, they need this guy in the lineup. He has averaged only 105 games each year over the last 3 years, so he's missed large chunks of time. 2-2. That one is crushed high and deep to left. And gone. Troy Tulowitzki, his 6th home run, has made it 5-4 Rockies. 2 doubles and a homer. How's the slugging percentage, please? Sixth home run given up this year by Wade Miley.
Just a fastball right down Main Street this time. Good hitters that are locked in rarely miss this one. I'll tell you, the way that ball came off his bat, I thought it was going to go a lot farther out of the ballpark. That was only a row or 2 up in the bleachers in left field. Martin Prado's ball to the gap in left center didn't appear to carry the way we thought it would. There doesn't seem to be any wind blowing inside the ballpark tonight, but just doesn't seem to be jumping the way it normally does.
That one is hit sky high in the air. Aaron Hill right near the second base bag has it for the first out. Here's where Troy Tulowitzki ranks among Major League shortstops since the 2009 season.
12th in games played, yet first in average, homers, and RBI.
And so now this year he's over 360. 6 homers, now 20 RBIs, 2 doubles and a home run tonight. Nolan Arenado takes strike 1. Arenado was last time up, extended his major league high hitting streak to 18 games. He doubled and scored. And Arenado, after winning a Gold Glove as a rookie, wanted to take the next step in improving the offense. So he would, during the winter, send videotapes of himself to Troy Tulowitzki. Send the video clips, and Tulo would watch and give him pointers. Do this, work on that. Pretty good guy to go to. That's a good resource.
No doubt about it. I always felt that the best advice you can get, all due respect to hitting coaches around Major League Baseball, is the guy that hits behind you in the order, the guy that's standing in that on-deck circle every night watching you hit 4 or 5 at-bats. He's the guy that's going to notice things quicker than anybody else. Hey, you're dropping your back elbow, your weight's too far forward. Whatever it is, that guy that's in the on-deck circle probably knows your swing better than you do.
Justin Morneau steps in. He's 0 for 2. That one is crushed to right center, high and deep, and that ball is gone. Justin Morneau, his 6th. 2 home runs in the inning for Colorado, and they lead it 7-4. Well, Walt Weiss has said he wants this team to overwhelm its opponents offensively, and that's what they're doing.
Catcher Jordan Pacheco.
Slider didn't take much of a break that time, just kind of a little wiggle into the middle of the strike zone where Morneau absolutely clobbered it out there in the RamTrucks.com pool area.
Three runs in the inning, 7-4 ball game. Here's Pacheco. An RBI double his last time up. Well, you've got Arenado, who's now hit an 18 straight. You've got Blackman, who's hitting 400. Tulowitzki's, who's at 360. Morneau, who's at 360. And this isn't even counting Rosario, who's out with a sore hand, which is why Pacheco is back there tonight. And Kadire, who's on the DL. Last year's, oh, by the way, National League batting champion.
And both their 7 and 8 hitter in the lineup tonight are hitting over 300.
Well, I know you were looking at, I believe you were looking earlier today at the home road splits for these guys, right? This isn't all just Coors Field stuff.
Well, they've done a lot more damage at Coors, which you would expect. I mean, it's a hitter's paradise, no question about it. The numbers are much more gaudy at Coors Field, but they're proving here tonight, like I have a feeling they're going to prove all summer, that this is a team that can hit anywhere.
Pacheco grounds out.
Second baseman, DJ
I mentioned before, that's after 12 home games and 13 road games, this being the 14th of the season on the road for the Rockies.
Rockies here in the Valley after winning 2 of 3 at Dodger Stadium over the weekend. They came in only a game and a half back of the Giants for the division lead. Aaron Hill has to hurry. And it gets away from Aaron. DJ LeMahieu, though, who slipped rounding the bag, will have to stay at first. And now they're going to award him second base. Aaron Hill had a chance to get LeMahieu at first, but the ball just came flying out of his hand.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he was trying to hold up his throw, and that's what caused it to go so far up that first base line. Right there, looks like maybe he had second thoughts about making the throw, but the ball slipped out of his hand anyway. Went over on the first base side there. Looked like it got stuck in the netting or the railing or something over there in foul territory.
And then LeMahieu slipped.
Yeah, at that point he says, I can't make it to second now, but he ends up being awarded second as that ball got stuck in the netting over there in foul territory.
Charlie Culberson will hit for the pitcher. Now this is interesting, because you're going to burn Culberson here. He's your emergency catcher with Rosario out with a sore hand. That's a single and an error on Aaron Hill, by the way. So give LeMahieu a base hit. Moves up to second, E4. Anderson Ford bullpen. J.J. Putz throwing for the Diamondbacks. A ball and a strike to Charlie Culberson.
Maybe they have a backup emergency catcher.
An emergency
emergency.
Double secret probation. Culberson was just called back up from AAA April 21st when Michael Kadire went on the DL.
The Rockies have an ideal situation with their AAA affiliate being right down the road from Denver in Colorado Springs. Very much like when we used to have our AAA team down in Tucson. Easy to reach out for players. They'd be in town in a couple of hours, ready to go.
Miley gets the strikeout, but gives up 3 runs in the inning. 2 on homers. A solo shot by Tulowitzki, a 2-run homer by Morneau. And the Rockies lead at 7-4. Arizona Fan Express, brought to you by Cox Communications and Fry's Food Stores, is ready to take you to a D-backs game. Just stop by this month's participating Cox retail store at Tempe Marketplace or at Fry's Food Store in Cottonwood. And you can enter to win 2 seats on the Fan Express bus. You'll get round-trip transportation to the Diamondbacks game either May 18 or June 8. For more information, visit foxsportsarizona.com. New pitcher for the Colorado Rockies. It's the right-hander Tommy Kahnle. Good number so far. His 10th appearance, a 1.38 ERA. This is a guy that generally goes more than 1 inning. 6 of his 9 games have been a 1+, including each of his last 2.
Fastball slider changeup combination from Kahnle. A lot of fastballs that go to the slider when he gets ahead in the count.
Gerardo Parra leads off the 6th. Parra has homered and singled, 2 for 2. Diamondbacks have been out hit 10-7. They trail at 7-4. Rockies tonight with 5 doubles and 2 homers. Kahnle can bring it to 95, 1-1. Parra starts it off 3 for 3. Well, Parra's now hit in 6 of his last 7 games.
Well, look now, somebody's getting locked in. That home run against Morales against a left-handed pitcher, that was his first against a lefty. You have to go all the way back to the end of the 2012 season against Drew Pomeranz and pitching for the Rockies. Good at bats against Morales, has carried it right over against a hard-throwing righty here.
Chris Owings 0 for 2. Tulowitzki, LeMahieu. Oh no, they roll it. Pitcher spot is due up, and we'll get a look at Roger Kieschnick. Kieschnick, a left-hand bat off the bench. Diamondbacks picked him up on waivers from the Giants earlier this month. He played 18 games with AAA Reno after coming over from San Francisco. Hit .281 with 3 homers. First pitch, swing and drive that to center. Easy play for Blackman coming up. And Canely is out of the 6th. We are through 6. Diamondbacks trail the Rockies 7-4. Is brought to you in part by Lone Butte Casino. You're in for more winning moments at Lone Butte Casino. And by Cox Communications. Bundle and save with Cox. From the Joe Garagiola broadcast booth here at Chase Field, Diamondbacks trail the Rockies 7-4. Fans follow every D-backs game with MLB.com at bats on your favorite mobile phone or tablet. You'll get live look-ins, instant replay, scores, stats, audio, a free MLB.TV game of the day, and more. You can download it on the App Store or visit dbacks.com today. 7th inning at Chase. D-backs trailing the Rockies 7-4. New pitcher is the right-hander Randall Delgado, on for the 10th time this year.
We showed you J.J. Putz up in the bullpen for the Diamondbacks in that last half inning. That was just if they needed this pitcher to get him out of that inning. But now that we've cleared the pitcher spot, Roger Kieschnick taking that at bat, it'll be Randall Delgado.
Blackman hitless so far, came into the game at .402 on the year. But he is 0 for 2 with a sacrifice bunt. And leading the National League in batting average, on base, and slugging. In fact, if you're a sabermetric guy, wins above replacement, we've heard about that, the metric that has a very complex secret formula designed to calculate how much better a player has been compared to an average player who would replace him in the lineup. And when you add it all up, Boy, Charlie Blackmon is looking good. He ranks as the second most valuable player in all of baseball, behind only Mike Trout in terms of WAR, wins above replacement. WAR in April doesn't mean a whole lot, but it's been a great start for Charlie Blackmon. Goes down and gets that one, lifts it into center for Pollard.
Sorry, Charlie.
That is the DB-TV control room, huh?
It looks like the stereo in your car.
I got the thing where I hook up the iPod.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's sweet, isn't it? That's where it all happens. That's the mission control here at Chase Field, where they pick some of that outstanding music to play during batting practice that we all enjoy so much. Don't you do it! It's probably Rob in there. He's always hitting all the buttons. There's Eric. He's the man with his finger on the pulse of everything.
Yes, he is.
0-1 to Brandon Barnes. I wonder with that camera, can they just walk into the radio booth and interrupt the governor and Tom Candiotti? Leo? Leo probably won't allow it. This is behind the scenes at Chase Field. This is where it all happens. The replays, the music, the game audio, everything.
Yeah, that batting practice music. That's they got to do something about that.
It's not good.
Not good
at
all. A lot of electronica. You would swear that the record was stuck. You know, it's just the same noise for 20 minutes straight. Yeah. Drives me crazy.
2-1. I know, that's why I brought it up. Pitch tracks, that's where they keep track of the balls and strikes. Cutter, slider, splitter.
Well, that's your future home plate umpire right there.
Never. I'll never give you that one.
Oh, it's coming.
No.
It's only a matter of time. We have the technology.
Man. This is pitch tracks.
Yeah, see? There, what's the question? There's no question whatsoever.
So it's going to be like tennis, where the serve is out, little thing goes beep.
Yep, that's good.
Oh, man. Three and two.
Oh, yeah, right.
Called there. Strike three. See, you don't need robot umps.
Shortstop.
See, any part of the ball touches any part of that box, it's a strike. Very simple.
Well, it hasn't been simple trying to retire Troy Tulowitzki tonight. He's our APS Energy All-Star. Tulowitzki doubled and scored in the first. Had a 2-run double in the third and homered in the sixth.
A lot of crooked numbers behind the name of Troy Tulowitzki.
This was Tulo in the sixth. Watch the hit speed. This one coming off the bat at almost 97 miles an hour. You know, the guy who runs everything at DBTV, the guy to know back there, the guy behind the guy. That's Steve Miller.
Mm-hmm. Oh, boy.
That's you, my man. No autographs. Steve edits all the great clips you see, the music video montages and stuff. Remember the game last year where he filled in as a Golden Glover? That was a highlight.
Oh, yeah. They probably don't like us disturbing them while they work.
No, it's okay. It's all
takes
right.
full focus and concentration to do what they do.
You're not going to get it there.
I'm not sure what he's doing, actually. He's just kind of sitting there. Then again, so are we.
Yeah.
2-1.
Boy, it goes without saying. Dangerous pitch on the way. Hitters count, normally a fastball count. This might be where Randall Delgado goes to that devastating straight changeup.
Just keep it down.
Wiggle from Montero. That means changeup. Kept it down, unfortunately out of the zone down.
So a 2-out base runner for Carlos Gonzalez.
Left fielder Carlos Gonzalez.
Cargo had an RBI double in the first. He's 1 for 3. It's funny, Cargo was talking about the knee tendonitis that he's been dealing with this year. In fact, since early last year, he said. And he said if he's been going through a stretch where he's swinging the bat okay, but the hits aren't falling, maybe a day off here and there is not a bad idea. You don't hear a lot of guys say that. And what was interesting was he said it's not just about resting the knee and being healthy for the entire season, and they need that from him. But he said, well, one, it gives another guy a chance and you take a breather, but it also gives you a chance to just sit there and think about the game. To Aaron Hill at second. Stretch time. We are going inside the radio booth. 98.7 FM. Leo Gilmartin. Tom Candiani, the governor, Greg Schulte, Jeff. Well, you remember that scene in Goodfellas where they go in the back way at the Copacabana. This is us here at the Joe Garagiola broadcast booth as we welcome Joe Borowski. And I gave you a Jersey reference. How about that?
Hey, I appreciate it. Anytime you can mention God's country, it's great.
What happened to Wade Miley tonight?
He didn't have trouble throwing strikes. It was the quality of the strikes he was throwing. And the biggest thing was it wasn't pitch selection or anything like that. It was execution of pitches. I thought he left too many pitches out over the plate with guys in scoring position. And also, when you have Tulowitzki who's doing what he's doing, you got to make sure when you execute your pitches, you have to hit those spots that Miggy's putting down.
Adam Ottavino, the new pitcher for the Rockies. A number 0 and a 0 ERA. His 14th appearance of the year.
The question is, when he gives up a run, is he going to change his number?
That would be interesting. Just keep it going.
Yeah. Well, let's change it right now.
Well, there is a nice symmetry there with the name that ends and begins in O and the number 0.
3 O's in Colorado, 2 in Ottavino, 3 zeros in his earned run average.
Well, he's put up some big strikeout numbers. 34 outs, 15 via the strikeout. And he has struck out at least 10 times this year. And he's ahead on A.J. Pollock 1 and 2. Pollock, Prado, Goldschmidt top of the order here in the Arizona 7th, trailing 7-4.
Ottavino has a little bit of Addison Reed in his delivery. Kind of throws across his body a little bit, really hides the ball well.
Off the fist, little dribbler to third. There's Arenado with a Gold Glove. Didn't need the glove that time. How'd you like to have this guy behind you, Joe?
That's just special right there. That's a do or die play right there.
Look how far behind his body he picked the ball up, actually. Watch, it's way behind his back leg, but that allows him to get it into a throwing position quickly. He knew he didn't have much time with A.J. Pollock running. You just can't do it any better than that.
He just turned 23 about a week ago. And a bright future ahead of him for sure.
Pitchers love seeing that type of defense behind you. And the biggest thing is, if you're around the strike zone and you're throwing strikes, the defense will make plays more often than not like that, because they're not on their back heels waiting constantly for 3-0, 3-1 counts. They know that you're throwing it over the plate, the ball is going to be hit out to them.
Well, Martin Prado's been putting the ball into play. He's got a single, a triple, and a walk. He scored twice, which is good to see, certainly, considering that Martin had hit only 190 over his previous 15 games. But you know that's going to turn around sooner or later.
And you hope this is the start for him. Sometimes you need that game as a hitter. One of those games where it just seems like everything that you're hitting is finding a hole. You're going in there. His last time, that triple, just missed a home run on it, but hopefully that's a sign of things to come for him.
3-0. Have you had a chance to watch Mike Bolsinger at all?
I got to see him when he made his debut at a relief. You know, you had the butterflies, understandable, but that start in Chicago, that's when I think he had everything just working. And as a pitcher, you love when you know you can throw any of your pitches anywhere you want in any count. And those are special times when you want to be out there.
Got a curveball like that. It's a nice, tight little 12-6 curveball. And like you said, if you have confidence in it, it's a whole different ball game. As Prado walks for the second time. So he's been on base all 4 times up today.
You know, and hopefully that start for Bolsinger against the Cubs, 6 2/3, only 4 hits, 1 unearned run. Cubs, although not as accomplished offensively as this Rockies team, but similar in style, very aggressive swingers. Come out of that on-deck circle swinging the bat just like these Rockies do. So hopefully some of that will carry over into his start tomorrow.
And that's the one thing that you want to see him is paying attention to this game and how, you know, the Rockies were really swinging early on in the count against Wade. Hopefully Bolsinger used that to his advantage tomorrow. Maybe throw those 2-strike pitches early in the count and get some easy outs.
And also, as we talked about at the top of the show, the Rockies have seen a ton of Wade Miley.
Sure.
So maybe there's a little bit of an unknown factor there for Mike Bolsinger that'll work in his favor.
And there's always an advantage to a pitcher who's facing a team for the first time. There's always the advantage going to the pitcher because they're not quite sure of what his patterns are, how much his balls may move, when does he like to use certain pitches in certain counts. You can always get it on a scouting report, but until you see it live, it's a whole different story.
2-0 to Goldie. So we'll get a look at Mike Bolsinger for the Diamondbacks. Fox Sports Arizona, all 3 games in the series on the TV side for you. That is well hit to left, and it is down. Gonzalez over there to cut it off. Prado heads for third. Paul Goldschmidt, 3 for 4.
That might be enough to drive Prado home. It sounded like Goldie might have cracked his bat. Ball got out there in left field and just kind of feathered after hitting the ground. Gave Carlos Gonzalez rather a chance to get over there underneath the ball, hustle it back into third base, but that ball was going to go all the way to the wall when it came off his bat.
Jim Wright, the pitching coach. And now the Diamondbacks, with one out in the seventh, have the tying run at the plate in Miguel Montero. And the way Miggy's been swinging the bat lately, this is what you want. Prado's been busy on the bases. He's already scored twice. And now he stands at third. Goldie at first. One out. Here's Miggy.
Now batting, catcher, Miguel Montero.
Montero drove in a run with a fly ball in the third. He's 0 for 2. Prado, the runner at third. Goldschmidt at first. That's moving. Up the middle and into center. Prado scores. Goldschmidt stops at second. RBI for Montero. It's a 7-5 ball game.
May have gotten an assist from the second base bag out there. Sends this one right back over the mound. Tulowitzki with a diving attempt, but the ball hit the bag and went over it. Break that the Diamondbacks have seen far too few of this year. Just skimmed off the bag. Tulowitzki tried to make a last-second adjustment, but it gets over his head into center field.
Second RBI tonight for Miguel Montero. Tying runs aboard, one out. Here's Aaron Hill.
And Miggy did a great job of staying up the middle with that pitch. A lot of times, Ottavino's expecting him to try and roll that over, throwing a little sink on it, but Miggy stayed through it and was able to drive it up the middle. That was just a good piece of hitting right there.
Aaron Hill had an RBI single in the third. He walked his last time up. Here's the Miguel Montero swing.
That took a home run swing on the first delivery from Ottavino, and then a much more controlled contact swing this time, right back up the middle.
Boy, the at-bats have just looked so much better. Aaron Hill ahead 2-0.
So we're going to have to find out if Ottavino changes his number for tomorrow, possibly.
Yeah. Kind of paperwork to fill out or something. Arenado has the scoop. And that's the double play. Joe, thanks. We'll see you on Diamondbacks Live after the game.
Looking forward to it, guys.
D-backs get one. It's 7-5 as we head to the 8th.
Coming pitching matchup for the Rockies, it's right-hander Tyler Chatwood making his third start of the season. Interesting, since 2012 he is tied for first in all of Major League Baseball with 73% ground ball outs. And the D-backs will counter with Mike Bolsinger. He's at 1-1 on the season, making his first ever start here at Chase Field. Guys, make sure you tune into D-backs Live, the pregame show. More on Mike Bolsinger, not only talking about his grip on his fastball and his curve, but also he's a guy that throws a curve a lot. And interesting, he says, I don't have great velocity. That's the way he's been able to make his way to the big leagues. And when he ends his warm-ups, he always ends with a lot of breaking balls because he has to have that confidence going out there and getting guys out in any count with that breaking stuff.
Well, he's sitting next to the right guy in the dugout, Brad, next to Bronson Arroyo in there. Both those guys basically top out at 87, 88 on a good day. Here's Arenado. He's 2 for 3. A double, a single. He scored twice, and he's extended his hit streak to 18 games now, the longest in the majors this year. And he's hit better than .350 during the hitting streak. Just over our heads, BB.
He's ready.
One of those nights. Something's in the air. You never know.
Hopefully we won't box it up the way Candiotti did next door.
That was pathetic. Embarrassing, frankly. The monitor appears to be working now. Two-2 pitch is lifted into center. Routine play for Pollock. Well, as promised earlier in the ball game, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game. What'd you come up with?
Oh, it was the governor. After a day off, he scoured through all the photos, and this is the one he came up with. Just thought the group looked like they were having a nice time.
It's a good shot, yeah. So thanks for tweeting us your photo using the hashtag AZFanPhoto. So keep the pictures coming in for your chance to have your fan photo shown in an upcoming game broadcast brought to you by AT&T.
It's tough to shoot a selfie like that and get 4 people just so perfectly framed the way that was.
Well, you're starting to get a little more arty in your choices. I know the governor picked that one, but starting to look at the photographic quality. Morneau, his last time up, hit a tremendous home run out near the pool to right center. Rockies got 2 homers in the 6th. The solo shot by Tulowitzki. Morneau's was a 2-run shot. That put him up 7-4. Diamondbacks have got 1 back. This is Morneau in the 6th. Off the bat at almost 99 miles an hour. That one is popped up in foul ground. Long run for Miggy. Can't quite get to it.
It's a little too far to go for Miguel Montero.
Look out for Mickey. Where's Mickey? He's protecting himself. Mickey.
Hey, I like it, Mickey. You did the right thing, though. You turned the camera out of the way so Miggy wouldn't run into the lens there. That was heads up.
You could have had a Mickey and Miggy collision there. Now this is Mickey's camera. He's abandoned his post.
Abandoned ship.
I like what you did with that very artsy shot. Yeah, shut up. He strikes out Morneau. 2 down. Second strikeout for Delgado.
I vaguely remember one of the first couple of years of the Diamondbacks franchise at old Jack Murphy Qualcomm Stadium down in San Diego when Phil Nevin was playing third base for the Padres. Chased a foul ball over near the third base dugout, and I believe Duke Thorne was on that trip, one of our own camera guys, and Phil Nevin ran right into the camera. I mean, hard.
Phil Nevin, now the manager of the Reno Aces for the Diamondbacks. Strike one to Jordan Pacheco, who had an RBI double in the fourth.
Randall Delgado bringing a little sanity back to this game. The Rockies, with their 10 hits tonight, have 5 doubles and 2 homers. Slowing down this juggernaut. Boy, these guys, I'm telling you, this is a scary offensive lineup when they're clicking the way they have been lately.
It shows you what a handful they can be. We watched the Diamondbacks get shut out yesterday on only 6 hits, but the D-backs offense has come through today. 5 runs, 10 hits. Prado has been on base 4 times. He's got a triple. Aaron Hill's been on base twice. Parr is 3 for 3 with a home run. The offense has been there, but they're just getting outslugged by these guys. Brandon McCarthy certainly could have used some more yesterday. He was outstanding. Brandon, 7 innings, gave up just the 2 runs and had 12 strikeouts. Boone Logan, the left-hander, warming for the Rockies. Two and two. Three strikeouts for Randall Delgado. He allows only 1 base runner in 2 innings of work and sends us to the home half of the 8th, trailing 7-5. Well, if so, you got to hurry up. You've only got till April 30th to prove it. So submit your entry. The winner gets a Sports Lover's Dream Prize Package. Just log on to foxsportsarizona.com/superfan for all the details. New pitcher for the Rockies. Their left-hand specialist out of the bullpen. This is the veteran Boone Logan. Rockies in the offseason went out and gave this guy a 3-year, $16.5 million contract. You don't see that a lot for bullpen specialist lefty types. But they identified a need, and here he is, Boone Logan. Opened the season on the DL. Came back earlier this month, and so far he's worked to a 2.45 ERA.
Basically fastball slider guy.
Signed as a free agent in December. $16.5 million. That's a lot of money for him. A specialist, but that's where we are in this era of bullpens. He'll work to Cody Ross, Ronald Parra, and Chris Owings. 6, 7, and 8. And the D-backs 8th, down 7-5. Cody so far 0 for 3.
I love the things that they put in the media guide occasionally.
What do you got?
Boone Logan lost a pregame on-field cow milking contest to the Angels' Brandon Wood back in '07 at Angel Stadium.
Who could forget? Sky to center, it backs up Blackman. 1 out. Now, is that based on time or volume of milk?
That's a good question. It doesn't specify here in the media guide, and I don't see a statistical category for it. But if Boone Logan happens to come to your farm and offer to milk your cows, I think I'd pass.
Call that guy.
Yeah. Well, Boone Logan, that's a good cowboy name, though.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Marshall. Gerardo Parra 3 for 3, including a home run. So Parra's hit in 6 of his last 7. Trying to make it a 4 for 4 here. Boone Logan last year was with the Yankees. In fact, the last 4 years with the Yankees. 61 appearances for the Pinstripes last year. Worked to a 3.23 ERA. And against Parra to chase, that's the second out. In fact, 2 years ago, Boone Logan led the American League. He appeared in 80 games. 80! That's a lot. 55 1/3 innings in 80 appearances. And did a good job for the Yankees.
He's always been a big-time strikeout pitcher out of the pen. Many strikeouts as innings pitched in his major league career.
Chris Owings 0 for 3. Boone Logan, 4 years with the Yankees, appeared in 256 games. You know how many saves he had? 1.
They had somebody there that took care of that.
Well, that's probably a fair point.
Yeah. Boy, and unlike a lot of lefties with the herky-jerky elbows and kneecaps and things flying all over the place, Logan very smooth and easy with his delivery. Kind of surprising that he can hump it up there in the low to mid 90s.
176 innings in 4 years in New York, 202 strikeouts. He's ahead of Owings 0-2. Called strike 3, 2 strikeouts in the inning for Boone Logan. And he sends us to the 9th. Diamondbacks trail the Rockies 7-5. Conditioning cool plays of the game. Some great plays by some D-backs fans here tonight. That gentleman in the upper deck. And then got another guy that brought his glove to the game.
That's one good play. And there's another good play. Give it to a kid. Nicely done, sir.
Our Chaz Roberts air conditioning cool plays of the game. Now, she still looks a little unhappy. This was earlier. This was not a very cool play. Spilling the beer all over your date.
Oh.
That's a no-no.
A brand new purse.
He's not happy.
She's not buying it at all.
DJ LeMahieu, first pitch swinging. That is over the head of AJ and into right center. LeMahieu has a leadoff double in the ninth. Randall Delgado back out for his third inning of work. LeMahieu 2 for 4. Pitcher spot is due up next, and we'll see Corey Dickerson for Colorado.
Pinch hitting for Boone Logan, number 6, Corey Dickerson.
Dickerson is a guy in there purely to face right-hand pitching. He does not hit lefties. And Kirk Gibson goes to the mound. J.J. Putz was warming up earlier. He waited until Dickerson was announced, and he will go to his lefty as Joe Thatcher. So we'll see if they recall a previous matchup. Look for some history between these two back after this. Back with a doubleheader as the Cubs renew their rivalry with Matt Holliday and the Cardinals, and then it's reigning AL MVP Miguel Cabrera and the Tigers squaring off against division opponent the Kansas City Royals. The action starts at 10 a.m. Pacific time on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Kirk Gibson goes to his bullpen. It's the left-hander Joe Thatcher on to face the pinch hitter Corey Dickerson in the ninth. DJ LeMahieu led off the inning with a double. He's on second. Nobody out. Squares to bunt. Fouls it off. Right near Stu Cole at third. Dickerson on the year, .333. He's got 8 hits. 2 of them are homers. Goldie crashing in from first. That one's fouled off. 0-2.
It's not easy for a left-handed hitter to hang in there against Joe Thatcher, swinging the bat. let alone trying to bunt it. Walt Weiss did have a couple of right-handed options if he wanted to go that direction. Call back Dickerson and send up either Josh Rutledge or Drew Stubbs. But chooses to go with Dickerson here, try to put down a bunt. He did put down one sack bunt last year, the only one in his professional career.
He did walk back to the dugout as Thatcher was coming in, but it was just a little pep talk from Walt Weiss. Dickerson last year, 36 at bats against left-hand pitching, hit a .194. A ball and 2 strikes. Dickerson played junior college ball in Mississippi, hit .459 with 21 homers. He was a JUCO All-American, 8th round pick by the Rockies in 2010. Reaches down and drops it into shallow right. They'll stop LeMahieu at third. Well, Kirk Gibson went for the lefty-lefty matchup. That's what the numbers said to do, but sometimes.
Oh, look at this.
That happens.
Ball right off the dirt, out of the strike zone, low and away. Just flipped it out there in shallow right field for a base hit.
So the Rockies up 7-5, have first and third, no outs in the 9th, and the top of the order up, it's Charlie Blackmon. See if we can keep that sorry Charlie theme going.
Yeah.
Blackmon had a sacrifice bunt in the 3rd. He's 0 for 3. After coming into the ball game, hitting .402 on the year, he's down to .389. So he's really slumping.
Really slumping.
That is high to right field. Parra in the corner. He's got it. LeMahieu tags from third. The ball gets away from Goldie and Dickerson moves up. 8-5 Rockies. Well, the execution failed them there.
Right fielder.
There's been a lot of things go sideways for the Diamondbacks in the early going this year, but this is just another example. If Goldie doesn't touch that ball at all, it probably goes into Miguel Montero on a couple of hops, but he tried to pick it clean there at first base, slowed it down just enough so nobody could get to it, allowing Dickerson to advance into scoring position.
An RBI for Charlie Blackmon, an 8-5 Rockies lead, and Kirk Gibson will go get his left-hander. Pitching change back after this. 8-5, and with one out, it's the right-hander J.J. Putz, thunderstruck here at Chase Field. J.J. on for the 12th time this year. 9 of his 11 appearances so far have been scoreless. He comes in with one out, and Corey Dickerson standing on second base. Good work to the right fielder, Brandon Barnes. Barnes is 0 for 3. He walked and scored in the third. Strike one. This guy's turned out to be a really valuable outfield piece. Hitting .340 on the year. He's played in 24 games now. He's got some speed. He can play both corner outfield spots. Played center last year with the Houston Astros. Mentioned how a lot of people thought the Rockies didn't get enough back in return when they sent Dexter Fowler to the Astros for Barnes and Jordan Lyles, but Barnes has been terrific. Lyles is 3-0 in 5 starts. And Fowler's hitting under .240 in Houston. One and two. Barnes trying to extend a 7-game hit streak. Chases the high heater, and that's the second out. Well, here's that man again.
Shortstop, Troy Tulowitzki.
He hits it harder than it comes in. Tulo, a double. He scored a run in the first. A 2-run double in the third. A solo homer to lead off the 6th. He walked his last time up. Dickerson, the runner at second, 2 down. Diamondbacks in the 9th. They'll have the pitcher's spot. And then the top of the order, Pollock and Prado. The Hawk, the veteran closer, is up for the Rockies, LaTroy Hawkins. Another one of the off-season moves.
Big night for Tulowitzki tonight. However, against J.J. Putz in his career, he hasn't been doing so good. 1 for 7 with 4 punch-outs against J.J. The D-backs hitters are aware that LaTroy Hawkins will use that abbreviated quick pitch when he comes into the ball game. If you remember from our games at Coors Field in Colorado, I'm sure he'll do it at least once, so we'll keep an eye out for it tonight. Never really comes to a set position like you see JJ do right there.
Down the left field line. Will it stay fair? And it is a foul ball. Even his outs are loud, or his strikes in this case.
Everything on the barrel of the bat. Little Carlton Fisk look coming out of the batter's box there. Looks back to the home plate umpire to see what the call is. Clearly on the good side of the pole.
Good for those guys anyway. A ball and 2 strikes. Colorado got off to a good start. You might recall last year they were 9 over 500 on April 20th. But then they quickly faded, never had a winning record after June 23rd. The way they're hitting here with this guy and everyone else, they don't look to fade this time. The pitching has been better. The health so far, for the most part, has been better. And with the Rockies, that's always the key, keeping Tulo and Cargo in the lineup at the same time. But now you add Blackmon in the mix, you add Arenado in the mix, Kadire when he comes back, Morneau, Rosario is a year better. Some good young pitching. They spent some money in the bullpen. 3-2. Here are the numbers Bob was talking about. Three balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Dickerson, the runner at second. Ball 4. 5 plate appearances tonight for Tulowitzki. He has reached base 5 times. 2 walks, 2 doubles, and a home run.
Left fielder.
And here's Carlos Gonzalez. An RBI double in the first. He's 1 for 4. One of the big reasons that the Rockies faded second half last year was right here, Carlos Gonzalez. More injuries. He played in only 19 games after the All-Star break. 25 homers in the first half of the year, 1 in the second half. And that sprained right middle finger suffered against the Diamondbacks. Two and 0. At the All-Star break last year, Gonzalez was leading the league in homers, slugging, extra base hits.
That's why the addition of Justin Morneau and Charlie Blackmon kind of balanced out this Rockies lineup a little bit. Without Cargo, they really didn't have a left-handed presence in the lineup, and all their good hitters were right-handed. You could really match up with them out of the bullpen late in ball games.
There's the strike, 2-1.
JJ kind of spraying him around here tonight. Comes right over the inside part of the plate for a called strike that time.
Two balls and 2 strikes. Of course, you play 162 games. Last year, the Rockies had both Tulowitzki and Gonzalez in the lineup at the same time, only 81 times. Runners off of the pitch, it's fouled back.
It's hard to believe that the Rockies could keep up the offensive pace that they've been on so far, but you know, if they do, your pitchers just to keep it relatively close, and like you said, Walt Weiss just tries to outslug everybody.
He wants to overwhelm everyone. That's the word he always likes to use. 2-2. There's what Cargo did last year. Dick Monfort is the owner of the Rockies, and he was talking about it's time to create a Rockies legacy. And he said about all this offense they have, it's time to get people scared to death. We've got to have people fear some of our guys. Well, so far it's working. 3-2, 2 outs. Chases one in the dirt, and JJ gets his second strikeout in the inning. They strand 2. Bottom 9 all the way. Diamondbacks trail at 8-5. And for Colorado, their 41-year-old closer is on. It's the Hawk, LaTroy Hawkins, 7 for 7 in save opportunities. He's worked to a 2.89 ERA.
Another guy, basically fastball slider. Crafty veteran, bounced around from team to team. Has usually been better as a setup guy than a closer. Has been given the opportunity to close a couple of different places and didn't have a lot of success, but the Rockies like him down there pitching the 9th inning this season. And as I mentioned a little while ago, keep an eye out for the quick pitch, where he doesn't actually come to the set position, just gets a sign from the catcher and steps toward home plate and fires it.
Pitcher spot leads off the 9th for the Diamondbacks, so Tony Campana comes off the bench to face Hawkins. LaTroy Hawkins in his 20th Major League season. This is his 954th appearance. Strike 1. At 41 years old, the oldest National League pitcher to earn a save since Trevor Hoffman in 2010. Hoffman was 42 when he got his save. Hawkins turns 42 in December. The pride of Westside High School in Gary, Indiana.
There's the quick pitch.
Little roller to second. One away.
I saw him come to a very deliberate set on the first 2 deliveries, but this time he just comes up with the glove. The leg follows it right on up, and he throws the pitch onto home plate, hoping to catch the hitter unawares and off timing.
A.J. Pollock 0 for 4.
There it is again. Doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to when he does it. 0-2 pitch to Campana. First pitch to Pollock. There's another one. Of course, he can only do that with no runners on base. When runners on base, he has to come to a complete stop.
Arenado. 2 down. How many times can you show it before it loses its effectiveness?
Well, I don't think it's a secret anymore. I mean, everybody that's faced or seen the Troy Hawkins pitch over the last couple of years know that he incorporates that from time to time. He's used it more tonight than I've ever seen him use it in a game.
Diamondbacks Live follows the ball game. Todd Walsh and Joe Borowski standing by. Here's Prado, who's been up 4 times and reached 4 times. He has walked twice, singled and tripled. He's scored 3 times. So Prado, who had hit 190 in his previous 15 games, having a bounce back night at the plate. Rockies, if they hang on, will improve to 10-7 against the NL West so far this year, including 6-5 on the road. You go above 500 in your division on the road, you're going to do well.
I'll tell you, the offense they're running out there this year, at least right now, it plays everywhere. I mean, they're not heavily reliant on the home run ball. They got guys with good speed up and down the lineup, contact hitters that hit the ball from foul line to foul line, as they've shown here tonight. I mean, they're going to hit their share of home runs, but I don't think they're a team that's dependent on the home run to score.
Blackman and Barnes can run really well. They'll get Kadire back soon. Hawkins strikes out Prado, and that's the ball game. The Rockies win the series opener 8-5. And so the Diamondbacks have now lost 3 in a row. They dropped to 8-21 on the year. Right now the Giants are losing at home to the Padres 5-4 in the 6th. D-backs began the night 8.5 back of the Giants in the NL West. And, well, Bob, they got the hitting this time. They didn't get the pitching. It was the reverse of yesterday.
Yeah, unfortunately, and really shocking that Wade Miley struggled the way he did tonight. Just didn't seem to have his good command, and this is the wrong offense to go into a game without your good control.
Diamondbacks will turn to the rookie Mike Bolsinger tomorrow. Mike Bolsinger versus Tyler Chatwood. We'll have that for you right here on Fox Sports Arizona. Right now, we turn it over to Todd Walsh at Diamondbacks Live.
Steve, thank you very much. Our coverage of the Diamondbacks continues here in Fox Sports Arizona. Coming up, the postgame show, we'll continue to break it down. And Joe Borowski on the pregame show. Feels like a lifetime ago. We talked about Wade Miley, 7-0 lifetime against Colorado in his career. Bob Brenly just alluded to it. Didn't look like he had his A game. What did you see?
Biggest thing was it wasn't pitch selection. It was pitch execution. And I'm going to show you exactly why he got into trouble with some of their big bats.
All right, we'll do that and so much more. Our post-game coverage is underway in moments. We'll get reaction from inside the Diamondbacks room, plus manager Kirk Gibson, Brad Steinke on the field, Bob Brenly in the booth. So much to stick around for. Diamondbacks Live, presented by CenturyLink, is around the corner here from Chase Field after a Diamondbacks loss in Game 1 of this 3-game series with the Rockies.